This is called Meiosis. This is the second date. I'm thinking of the dictionary and the word fellatio and the fact that on the same page, further down, you'll find the word fellow. And this doesn't mean much because fellow and fellatio don't always go together. I study his face looking for some sort of Geronimo in him. If only he was a constellation of a man, someone to be counted on to do something. But I put him under the microscope. This is quite the exhibition. Words swimming in here. Small talk like air bubbles. The walls of the restaurant are periwinkle. I want to lean over and say, please don't speak. I just so want a chance to undulate. I decide this stage feels like a cell. I become a spore, could sink. The intervals of my breath float mid-air like pigeons. The birds that people hate. He laughs, says things like pussy, cat, note to self. Interesting. He took a liking to cats after he watched one kill a bird. Its bloody muzzle is called charming. I pretend to laugh. Sounds like a cackle. Isn't it funny, he says? He named the kitty Killer. So, not that I always have a bad time on a date. So, this is proof. This is called Shoot. The pink tongue of my desire transpires to make new words to describe our lips, which together make conceptual art, a fever dream that utters nonsense, builds heat in the small of my back. The sleek tip of muscles touch, create flesh psychedelia, makes my heartbeat day-glow red, pulsing heliotrope in my throat. This secret between your mouth and mine, a revolver, a brazen fervor, a blind boomerang. The collision of our breath makes the universe fall. When your hands touch my face, everything opens, leaves me a convoluted mess. You give me this, comprehension beyond flesh, a tiny piece of bliss. So I also decided to bring two poems about the East Bay, my experience of the East Bay, and I'm going for like kind of what I went for with the dating. You know, let's not, you know, okay, there's a little trouble, but let's not get, you know, too depressed about it. This is called Medusa on the Train. Men who suffer from elephantitis of the testicles are common on public transportation. You've seen them. They sit wide, creating a triangle with the spread of their legs. Sometimes I feel sorry for them, but mostly I want to spread my legs wide too and say, listen man, I know all about it. I have elephantitis of the clitoris, and I need all the space that I can get. Share the space. Sometimes I say this sort of thing, but today is different. A really good book. The protagonist of the story is in a bar surrounded by disingenuous fans. She's a writer, trapped by fame and ready to be set free. So, when the coarse leg hairs of the man who's been sitting next to me for the last couple of stops makes contact with my skin, I ignore it and scoot in the opposite direction. The train compartment fills with the whoosh whoosh clang clangs of speeding through the underwater tunnel that connects San Francisco to the East Bay. The heroine of my story is stripping off her clothes when I feel those horsefly hairs make contact again. My book's heroine hisses, "What do you want? I've given you everything. Here, take my flesh." The hair is rough, but not threatening, akin to impotent Brillo pad. I stop reading, look down to where contact is being made. His knee pushing up against mine. There's a newspaper spread across the man's lap. Beneath it, his hand jerks the head of his dick, which looks like an understuffed bratwurst. My eyes travel over the newspaper to his face, which freezes. I lean into him, my face inches from his, and I growl, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." The newspaper floats in the air like ash, settles on the ground between his legs, and the now tamed snake. He whimpers, "I'm sorry, I'll do whatever you say." This is called Here in Oakland. Our eyes will meet at Van Cleef's. Later, when we kiss, you'll taste of honeydew melon martini. And some lazy afternoon in the Fruitvale, waiting in the heat, so hungry, we'll take risks, consuming green and red chilies that will light our lips on fire, and how after a while the burning will disappear, but not completely. The kisses here are salty, and they raise dust, because in Oakland, not all the roads have been paved. We have a story. Your skin is heavy with ink, and we both marvel at people who become what they are not. We watch virgins have children, and how sometimes only words will feed the famished. We stop here on International and East 14th behind a truck piled high with cardboard. It has a bumper sticker that reads, "In Guad we trust." She's everywhere, the dark Virgencita. Here, if you look closely enough, the blood shines in the street like red glass in the sunlight. Here we are shiny tin art, and in tiny boxes we are figurines of death. Every day is Dia de los Muertos. And you will always be remembered as some kind of beauty. Here our tongues tangle together, and we speak Spanglish to one another and spray paint history on walls. You can find us here, in the stillness of very late or very early, in the empty storefronts of downtown, in the pre-jogger-filled path of the lake, in the stillness of fairyland, like us, empty, waiting, ready to make something out of nothing as we struggle through another day and come up for air. Thank you.